Ahead, Mr. Genuis, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chair. So Mr. Doan, I'm trying to put together the picture here. In the context of the Arrive scam story, one big issue is missing records. The Auditor General has identified this as a key issue, records that should be there that aren't there, that would help us understand what happened in this whole fiasco. The fact that the records don't exist or can't be found means that they either were never created or they were at some point destroyed. Now, you are one of the figures involved in discussion of the ArriveCAN issue, and in the midst of this, we see very significant and detailed allegations around your files disappearing. And if I understand your testimony today, your files encountered some kind of a technical problem, and then you undertook a kind of a do-it-yourself on your computer. And you explain this do-it-yourself procedure you undertook because the IT folks are very busy. Now, you're a senior public servant. I would think that you're very busy as well. It would seem odd to me if a CEO at a big company said that he's just going to schedule his own meetings because his secretary and scheduler are very busy. Nonetheless, you undertook a DIY on your own computer outside of protocol, and in the process, something went wrong, and files disappeared. And at the same time, we have a problem of missing records that make it harder for us to understand what happened with the whole Arrive scam issue. Is my description broadly correct in terms of your testimony, or have I missed something?
In terms of, I didn't attempt to fix anything. So I had identified to me that my battery was about to go, and I needed on my current work laptop at the time. Et avant de tout perdre, donc si la batterie.
Before losing everything, I needed to get a new laptop. So when I did the transfer, as you say, the DIY.
Kind of a Control-C and a Control-V. So it was copy one file.
Okay, Mr. Doan, I know you've been trained on how to testify at committees, and I don't want you to run my whole time. I did ask a fairly clear question, I think. You had testified earlier, and you're testifying now, that you undertook work that would normally be done by designated IT professionals. Instead of calling in the designated IT team, you went and did it yourself. Is that correct? I mean, that's essentially what you said earlier.
Yes, I copied a file into the network and copied it onto my new computer.
Okay. In the process of doing that, files were accidentally damaged, and that has led to a situation in which it's hard to find these records. According to this IT employee who spoke to the Globe and Mail, the fact that you didn't engage the proper IT professionals for this is extremely unusual. It's outside of the proper protocol. You contacted an individual IT employee directly at one point instead of going through the proper process. I mean, how are we to find you credible, sir? And I want to give you the benefit of the doubt here, but how are we to find your testimony credible that, given how central missing records is to this whole story, that you, one of the central figures in this story, undertook to go outside the normal protocol to manipulate things on your computer on your own, and in the process, files were corrupted and disappeared? Like how are we to believe credibly that you were just trying to save the folks in IT some time as a senior manager, and something just happened to go wrong?
At the beginning of 2023, OAG report was not out. You mentioned missing records. Missing records was not a discussion or a point at that time. So to imply that I would have done anything specific for missing records, I didn't. In terms of the IT person,
sir, that timeline has no relevance at all. I'm almost out of time. Why did you undertake this do-it-yourself on your computer? What is the real reason why you didn't use the proper protocol?
I'm afraid.
Because I was highly.
Sorry, Mr. Doan, I have to interrupt here because we are out of time, but perhaps Mr. Genuis can get back to that at his next intervention. Perfect. Mr. Genuis, please.
Thank you, Chair. My colleague, Mr. Brock, and others have spoken about a series of text messages between Mr. Doan and Mr. McDonald. These are two central figures in this issue, and Mr. Doan seems to be sort of disputing the potential veracity of these text messages. I wonder. Mr. Doan, if you would be willing to share with the committee all of your text messages with Mr. McDonald, I think that would be quite revealing and help us to probably identify other key facts of what has gone on. Would you be able to provide that to the committee?
I'll go through my phones and work with shared services and Treasury Board to see what I can recover. Yes.
That was a bit of an imprecise answer. Will you provide the text messages and are the text messages available, or have they been corrupted through file transfer and DIYs on your phone as well?
No, there was no corruption. But when you change departments, when you take your phone with you, that the common practice is the new department wipes your phone and configures it for the new department.
Okay, well, I think it might be simpler if the committee just agreed to send for those text messages from you, as well as from Mr. McDonald, as well as from the government and the service provider. So we're essentially soliciting that information from everyone who has them. Is there any objection from the committee to that?
You set a date. No, from when? Starting when?
Well,
August 20.
Compared to what we've asked for, I don't think all of the text messages between these two individuals would be too exhaustive, and I suspect it would be useful information.
Right. What I'm asking for is from what date? August 1990, August 2021.
Well, when did people start using cell phones? Sure, 1990.
No, you know what I mean. Like starting January 2020, starting the beginning of the pandemic.
Well, okay, from 2018 until present.
Sure. You fine with that, everyone? Yep. Perfect. So be it.
In terms of these text messages, you said my issue, according to these messages, my issue is what I want to say versus what I can say. Can't throw FAC under the bus, can't throw ministers under the bus. Is there information that you would have said that you can't say that would cast ministers in a negative light? Because we've been told that ministers haven't been involved in these discussions at all, and yet you seem to imply in these text messages that you know something about ministers that they wouldn't want shared at committee.
No, there isn't.
There isn't. So would you have said something like that, or implied that there was something in a conversation with Mr. McDonald?
I think I answered that when I was answering another question. If the question is why there were so many changes, why does it cost as much, is because we were meeting the needs of other departments.
Question. That's not the question. The question is about ministers. We have text messages, between Mr. Cameron and you that say you can't throw ministers under the bus, and your issue is what you want to say versus what you can say. That would imply that you would like to say something that would cast ministers in a negative light, and you feel that you can't say it. But you're telling us now that you would have nothing to say regarding ministers one way or the other. So which is it? Were ministers involved or not? And if they weren't, what are we to make of these text messages?
Ministers were not involved, and I can't throw people under the bus. It goes against my integrity and my approach. I didn't throw Mr. McDonald under the bus last time I was at committee under oath for 2.5 hours.
But sir, you're just not answering the question. And
I am answering the question.
No, witnesses have to answer the question. That's how this works here. You said my issue is what I want to say versus what I can say. What I want to say versus what I can say. So what is it that you want to say that you can't say to this committee, sir?
I can only imagine what I wanted to say. So I could say I was very
Fire away.
frustrated. I was very tired. I was working 7 days a week. I was frustrated that after what I thought was something that met the needs at the time was now being questioned, my integrity and the cost and how we went about it. That's what I wanted to say. We were working around the clock.
But you're still not answering the question. What you want to say regarding FAC and ministers? What is it that you want to say regarding FAC and ministers?
Can you reread this text to me that I would have written?
Chair, if we can stop the
We'll have
clock.
to wait for the next round for that.